Welcome to Literary Paradise, friends. Today we are going to take up Ode to the West Wind, written by P.B.Shelley in 1819 in Cassine Wood near Florence, Italy. Friends, this ode got published in 1820 as a part of Prometheus Unbound, a lyrical drama in 4 acts with other poems. Here, poet introduces himself as a crusader whose revolutionary thoughts should spread across the world. The poem glorifies his poet's role as a voice of change and as a manifestation of revolution as well. So, friends, this ode has been divided into 5 cantos, and each canto consists of 4 tercets. The poem records the effect of the west wind in multiple dimensions like earth, air, and ocean. Now, influenced with the fast and effective blows of the west wind, Shelley wants to be like it. He wants to become a companion of this wind. The poem ends up with a positive note that assures the readers for a good time ahead. Now look at the poem. O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being, thou, from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing. So friends, you can see that this stanza begins with an alliteration, that is wild west wind. Alliteration is a figure of speech that marks the repetition of initial consonant sounds in successive words. So, friends, the speaker of this poem seems to invoke the west wind so that he could get rid of a life of inactivity and find something motivational that can help him to add value to his life. Here, the west wind has been addressed by the poet. As we all know that breathing is a human activity, and here associating this activity with the wind shows its personification done by our poet. Now here, by addressing the west wind as the breath of autumn's being, shows that the west wind is an essential part of the autumn season. Now, poet has set an analogy between chasing away of ghost by a magician or a sorcerer and driving these dead and diseased leaves away by the west wind. Next stanza. Yellow and black and pale and hectic red, pestilence stricken multitudes, O thou who chariotest to their dark wintry bed. So friends, the natural color of leaves is obviously green, but this unnatural yellow, black and red color of leaves suggests that these are diseased and decayed leaves of the trees. And here poet says that the wild west wind chases these dead leaves to their graves. Wintry bed refers to grave. Okay, next stanza. The winged seeds, where they lie cold and low, each like a corpse within its grave, until thine azure sister of the spring shall blow. So, in this stanza, our poet shifts his attention from leaves to the seeds that lie inactively throughout the winter season and suddenly sprout up when the spring season arrives. Now, the spring season has been addressed as the azure sister of the west wind. Stanza 4. Her clarion over the dreaming earth and fill driving sweet birds like flocks to feed in air with living hues and odors plain and hill. Now, the beauty of the spring season has been depicted with some lovely and picturesque images by the poet here. Here, he has personified earth as someone lost in beautiful and romantic dreams during the autumn and winter season. But the arrival of the spring season on earth works as an alarm to wake the drowsy earth from her dreams. To poet, the spring season appeals with a variety of flowers with different colors and fragrances. That's what he means by with living hues and odors plain and hill. So friends, the final stanza of this canto goes like, wild spirit, which art moving everywhere, destroyer and preserver, here, O here. So friends, our poet has addressed the west wind as a destroyer and preserver of nature. Destroyer because it is so extreme and fierce that its harsh blows cause the shredding of the older leaves from the branches, and preserver because it preserves the beauty of nature by driving every ugly and unwanted thing from earth's surface. Shelley calls it a wild spirit, for it reveals itself as a free, independent, and uncontrollable power of nature. Quickly move on to the second canto now. I'm reading the first stanza of this canto. Thou, on whose stream amid the steep sky's commotion, loose clouds, like earth's decaying leaves, are shed, shook from the tangled paws of heaven and ocean. So, friends, here poet addresses to the west wind as a person whose clouds have been scattered on the sky in the same manner as the tree leaves are scattered on the surface of earth below. Now, poet has included the ocean in his description as the reflection of this beautiful view of a sky with scattered clouds can be seen in it. Stanza second. Angels of rain and lightning, thou art spread on the blue surface of thine airy surge, like the bright hair uplifted from the head. Angels of rain and lightning is a reference to the rainy clouds spread over the blue sky. These clouds have been compared to the bright and frizzy hair of Maenad, a fire's goddess in Greek mythology who accompanies Dionysus, the Greek god of wine, fertility, and religious ecstasy. Move on to the next stanza. Of some fire's Maenad, even from the dim verge of the horizon to the zenith's height, the locks of the approaching storm. Now the poet sees that these clouds look like the unmanaged hair locks of Maenad, and they are spread from the center of the sky to its horizon. Moreover, these dark green clouds are indicators of a heavy storm created by the west wind. Stanza 4. Thou dirge of the dying air, to which this closing night will be the dome of a vast sepulchre, vaulted with all thy congregated might. So, dirge refers to a mourning song on someone's demise, and sepulchre denotes a ritual wherein a corpse is buried in a grave. Now, poet says that the west wind acts like a lamenting song on this metaphorical death of this air. It is because the autumn season can be taken as a period of death and destruction in nature. Look at the final stanza of this canto now. Of vapors from whose solid atmosphere black rain and fire and hail will burst, O here. Friends, these lines reflect the extremity and fierceness in the wind's treatment of nature. Here, poet describes as how the west wind brings about rain, storms, and hailstones on earth. We should move on to the third canto now. First stanza from the third canto goes like, Thou who did waken from his summer dreams, the blue Mediterranean, where he lay, lulled by the coil of his crystalline streams. So, friends, this stanza is devoted to a very sweet and romantic description of the Mediterranean Sea. Here, poet has personified the Mediterranean Sea as a male who is having beautiful dreams. This Mediterranean Sea is being lulled by the splashes of its streams as well. Second stanza. Beside a Pumice isle in Baya's Bay, and saw in sleep old palaces and towers, quivering within the waves' intenser days. So, friends, in this stanza, poet continues to describe the dream of the Mediterranean Sea. First, he locates the sea lying near an island in the Bay of Baya. Baya had been a sort of a summer holiday place for the Romans in earlier times. So Shelley says that the sea has been lost in his beautiful dreams of old palaces and large buildings. Stanza 4th. All overgrown with azure moss and flowers, so sweet, the sense faints picturing them, thou, for whose path the Atlantic's level pars. Friends, this stanza offers more meticulous description of Mediterranean's dream, as it says that the places the sea has been dreaming of are extremely beautiful and sensual with moss and flowers grown near it. Now, poet glorifies the power of the west wind by projecting the submissiveness of the great Atlantic Ocean to it. So, friends, I have explained to you the first half of this poem today. Do watch the final part of this poem in my next lecture. If you like this video, hit the like button and do subscribe to our channel for further updates.